and I read, review and discuss fantasy and science fiction books. Today we have a discussion on my weekly reading wrap-up. This is going to be what I've read this week, what I'm reading next week, what videos I've made this week, what videos I'm making next week, and then kind of just anything else that I've been up to, shows, movies, games, etc. Let's dive right in and talk about the things that I have read this week. So, on Monday morning, I finished Blood Reunion by JCM Byrne. My review is already on the channel. This one was a really fantastic superhero sci-fi book where our main character, the superhero in the superhero sci-fi, is facing off against an ancient vampire in space. So if any of those things sound cool to you, I mean, you can kind of read this one standalone, to be honest, but you do get a better experience having read the first two books. This is in the Hybrid Helix series. It's the third book. I really enjoyed this one. I think JCM Byrne has absolutely nailed the kind of... It's not a magic system because it's sci-fi, but the nature of superhuman power in his sci-fi universe. I really like the kind of world building. I love the space station and what's going on there. And there were some really cool and interesting reveals in this book, which I feel are leading us towards maybe a bigger overarching plot, which is pretty exciting. There's some stuff that I was kind of wondering about in the first book that started to get explored more here, which is pretty exciting. The vampirism stuff was really cool. Not only did JCM Byrne manage to do good vampires, he managed to do space vampires well, and then he also managed to create like a whole lore and kind of science and metaphysical spiritual kind of connection for these vampires. Really worked really well. Really chuffed with this book. I have been told that before book 4 of the series, I need to read a different book called Partial Function. So pretty certain that will be on the April TBR. But, you know, hold on. I'm not going to release that yet. So what did I start reading next? So after that, I started reading Trials of Empire by Richard Swan. I have nothing to hold up here because I have been listening to it on Audible. So I did get an advanced reader copy for this one, but I have enjoyed the audiobook so much for the previous two that I decided I was just going to do like 100% audio for this one. So been really enjoying it. It's a really good book so far. I have, I think, 5 hours left on the audiobook. I haven't been rushing through it because the next book I want to read is also an audiobook. So basically I've been like, well, if I finish, because I could have finished it yesterday, but I was like, well, if I finish it today, the next book I want to read is an audiobook. It's a sci-fi audiobook, and I want to read that. I want to start reading that on this Sunday for a special video idea I'm working on. So, I was like, well, no rush. Might as well go slow on this one. I'll be reading my next book, which is going to be Queen Amid Ashes by Christopher Rocchio. It is the second novella in the Sun Eater series. It's meant to be read after Howling Dark, as far as I'm aware. When I looked up the order, it said read Howling Dark, then read Queen Amid Ashes and Tales of the Sun Eater Volume 1. So I'm gonna read Queen Amid Ashes, and then I do have I've got Tales of the Sun Eater Volume 1 because it was on Kindle Unlimited, so I've got that on the old Kindle, and I will be reading that if I finish Trials of Empire today, I will start the Tales of the Sun Eater and then just kind of pause it, read the whole of Queen of Mid-Ashes, and then, then come back to Tales of the Sun Eater. So that's basically the reading plan. If I finish, I'm almost certain that I will finish Queen of Mid-Ashes, and when that happens, my plan is to read Promise of Blood by Brian McClellan. So really excited to read this one. A lot of people say a lot of great things about it, and also I just love this cover. Like Mike's Book Review said on a video recently, never judge a book by its cover unless the cover is really cool, and this cover is really cool, which has made me want to read it this whole time. I have been eyeing up some broken binding editions that are being sold secondhand on Vinted. I haven't bought them yet, but I have definitely been eyeing them up, and I think I will buy them if I love this series. So yeah, I've got all 3 books. They were actually sent to me by a friend. Yeah, excited to get into this one. I was planning on reading Will of the Many as my final book of the month. The problem with that is I don't have a copy of Will of the Many. It's still very expensive on Kindle, and the paperback isn't out, so it's still quite expensive in physical, and my library doesn't have it. So because the library system doesn't have a copy of Will of the Many, I'll probably end up waiting for the paperback, or I did put it on my Amazon wish list, which it's linked in the video description, but like, please don't buy me any books unless you desperately feel you want to. My family has that wish list, and they will hopefully be buying me a ton of books for my birthday, which is in May. So Will of the Many possibly coming in May or earlier if someone buys it for me, or if I bite the bullet and buy it for myself. Excited to read it though. One of my friends, Mare, has been raving about Will of the Many, but she also loves Promise of Blood. So I feel like disappointing on one hand and kind of being a better booktuber on the other. I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, Promise of Blood, really excited for this one. It's like it's like kind of a Sharp-esque historical fiction, but it's fantasy. So we're thinking like that sort of era of history, the Sharp era, like Napoleonic Wars, but the magic is all about magic gunpowder. So yeah, super excited for this one. Lovely floppy paperback, just saying. And I know this is a friend of Brandon Sanderson. So Brian McClellan is a Sanderson student, graduate of his course, and then became friends with him. So I feel like if this is a book that Sando has supported on and likes, I'll probably like it. Videos for this week. So we have made 4 videos, 5 including this one. Actually, no, that is a lie. So we've made 6 videos this week. There was a bonus video on Sunday for St. Patrick's Day. So that was the beer book tag. So what I did was I invented my own tag for the first time. And the beer book tag was basically spelling out your favourite beer name with book recommendations. So I'm hoping that people enjoyed that one. The next video I made was, well, this is weird, right? So I released 2 book tag videos in a row, which I would never normally do, but I didn't have the review ready for Blood Reunion because I had finished the book, but I didn't have time to film it. And I had previously, I got tagged a week or so before by Read by Fred in his Girl Scout Cookies tag. And I filmed the video straight away, the book tag straight away. Like, I saw the tag, watched it, and then filmed it because I was doing filming that day. But I had been holding on to it to release for a day when I had a gap in the schedule. And it just so happens that the gap in the schedule came the day after another book tag. So, yeah, 2 book tags in a row. Then we had the Blood Reunion review. Then I had 2 Wandering In chapters in a row. One video, unfortunately, I accidentally clicked on the wrong video when I was doing the upload. So the wrong Wandering In video was on the channel for like 5 hours. I did then correct it and upload the right one, and then we had the next chapter the next day. I have been thinking about if I can find the time to batch record a ton of Wandering In, starting to do more Wandering In videos and putting them out on Saturdays and Sundays. This is something I have been wanting for a while, to be able to release a video a day, because that is better for YouTube's algorithm. And basically, the more content you release, the better, and the more YouTube shows you to people. My only qualm is, I feel like half of the viewers of the channel are here for the books and half of the viewers are here for the Wandering In. And so my worry is that if I do more Wandering In videos, it will make my channel less popular, if that makes sense. Like, less people who subscribe will, as a percentage, will watch all the videos. And so, yeah, that's my worry. I worry I'm going to be penalised by YouTube, essentially, for making the content that I want to make. And whilst I'm only making what I want to make, the channel growth has slowed down quite a lot recently. So I don't kind of want to piss off the algorithm any more than I may already have done. Anyway, so today we've got the recap video. That's one today. Then next week, you'll be getting the Trials of Empire review. There'll be another video for the Wandering In, as normal. We've also, I'm going to do probably a series in review for the Empire of the Wolf. I would also, I might see if there's someone that I can do spoiler discussion about Trials of Empire with. That could be fun. There's a few booktubers that I follow that are a lot bigger than my channel that have just read it, so maybe those people. Otherwise, I have a few ideas, few irons in the fire. The Queen of Mid-Ashes video might go up next week. It might take me too long to edit, and so it will be the week after. And also, it is the end of the month, so probably at some point there will be a April TBR video. I've got a few ideas and things I know I want to read in April, but basically my sci-fi is kind of nailed down because I want to read Partial Function. I want to read the next Sunita book, Demon in White, I think is the third one. And then I also want to read probably Iron Gold, the first Red Rising sequel book. So those are kind of my ideas of sci-fi to read next month. My fantasy is obviously going to be a Wheel of Time book. Then I have two openings. So I'm like, do I want to read the sequel to Promise of Blood? Maybe. And also I want to look at new releases, because I said I would read new releases this year, and I don't think I read any this month. Well, Trials of Empire is a 2024 release, so that counts. But I didn't read... I was also planning on reading Empire of the Vampire, then Empire of the Damned, and because I didn't really get on with Empire of the Vampire, I think due to listening to it via audio, I think I should have read it. I have not actually read... not able to read Empire of the Damned. I would like to read, because I've just found out that it's wrong term, wrong person. Mark Lawrence, I found out is from Bristol, which is my hometown. So I'm kind of like, oh, actually, I feel like I should support, hometown hero, and I should be reading The Book That Wouldn't Burn and The Book That Broke the World. So really, really strongly considering reading both of those in April. The only other side thing about April is that I am extremely busy in April. So I have 2 stag do's and I'm going on holiday. So for most of April, my reading time will be much, much, much lower than normal. I'm only probably going to plan to read The Shadow Rising in like I normally read a Wheel of Time book in like 6 days. I think I'll be planning to read it in like 10 days to 2 weeks. I do want to make a video actually about, I was going to make a video that was like, books I'm taking on holiday, but I'm just going to take The Shadow Rising. Like, that's it. That's the only book. Because I don't think I will finish the whole thing while I'm on holiday. So, yeah. Long story short, weird month next month. I'll talk to you guys more about it in the April TBR video. So that's kind of what all the, videos and book stuff. There is one other thing that I wanted to talk about, which is that I watched the new Jake Gyllenhaal Roadhouse last night. So I'm a big fan of the original Roadhouse. I think it's like proper classic, like ITV Sunday night movie, like one of those movies that you've seen like 20 times and not a single time did you intend to watch. The new Jake Gyllenhaal one is not as good, although maybe it is as good and I just have no nostalgia for it. So I would have said that the first half of the Jake Gyllenhaal Roadhouse movie is like a 4 out of 5 that I was really enjoying, and then the second half was like a 2 out of 5. And the fight choreography, right? So Jake Gyllenhaal's like massive. They've been teaching him to do fighting, and then he does this massive fight with Conor McGregor, professional UFC world champion, whatever he is, and he's like, the fight choreography in those fights is terrible, and like all the shots are like right up in people's faces, and like they don't actually show you the fight happening. It's all like swooping, and it's like the exact wrong type of cinematography for me for fight scenes. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, we'll talk about. I was going to talk about one more thing specifically about Trials of Empire, but I'm going to save that for the review because it's a trend that I have noticed in a couple of reviews recently that I want to talk about. So that's everything for this week. Yeah, it's been a great week. I had a lot of good chats on the channel. Been very, very busy with work, and because when you're about to take like a week off, life gets incredibly busy. But let's get down to business. I'm going to get back to some reading with the rest of my lunch break, and I will speak to you guys on Monday.